A $6.50 bag of long-grain white rice costs roughly 45 cents to farm, polish, and package. The remaining $6.05 is not premium agriculture. It is not traditional soil management. It is a plastic bag, a smiling mascot, and a multi-million-dollar marketing apparatus designed to make you confuse market dominance with nutritional quality. We ranked 12 major rice brands. 7 are charging you for mass market nostalgia, synthetic fortification, and corporate distribution slotting fees. 5 are putting your money directly into the grains themselves. Starting with a brand whose label relies heavily on mid-century heritage while delivering stripped-down industrial starch. In 12th place, Ben's Original, formerly Uncle Ben's, built its empire on mid-century convenience, but your supermarket box is a masterclass in modern corporate optimization. Mars Foods owns the brand. They pioneered a high-heat parboiling process that allows them to process massive volumes of low-cost, high-yield hybrid grains. Today, Ben's Original does not source from single-origin heritage farms. It acts as a massive agricultural aggregator, pulling bulk commodity rice from industrial megafarms across the Mississippi Delta and international spot markets. Their signature parboiling steams the paddy rice before milling, pushing some water-soluble vitamins into the endosperm, but they strip away the bran layer entirely. To make up for this mechanical destruction, they spray the white grains with synthetic iron, niacin, and thiamine powder. Take their standard converted white rice. A 2-pound box frequently retails for $5.50 to $7. The underlying raw agricultural material costs roughly 60 to 80 cents to procure at bulk commercial rates. That is an 8 to 9 times markup on a heavily processed, artificially enriched starch. Consumer testing confirms it. The heavy industrial polishing destroys the grain's natural amylose architecture, resulting in a rubbery texture that relies on synthetic additive coatings to meet basic regulatory standards. When a staple grain exists primarily as a high-margin cash cow inside a global confectionery conglomerate, the nutritional integrity of the grain is no longer the priority. The margin efficiency is. Number 11. When you see the name Minute Rice, your brain connects the brand to effortless family dinners and ultimate kitchen efficiency. Minute Rice delivers convenience, but almost zero biological value. It operates at the absolute bottom tier of grain integrity. Owned by Riviana Foods, a subsidiary of the Spanish food giant Ebro Foods, Minute Rice is an entry-level grocery staple disguised as real food. Pick up a box of standard Minute white rice and look closely at the manufacturing process. The grains are fully cooked, blasted with high-heat industrial air, and dehydrated into hollow starch shells. This generic industrial processing costs the corporate parent pennies per unit, yet a 14-ounce box retails for $5.50 to $6, translating to nearly $6 a pound. The gap between those two numbers is not revolutionary agriculture. It is factory thermal processing and supply chain leverage at work. By pre-gelatinizing the starch, Minute Rice destroys the natural glycemic buffer of the grain. When consumed, it breaks down into simple glucose almost instantly, triggering rapid blood sugar spikes. 40 cents to process and package, $5.50 to purchase. That ratio should immediately change your shopping habits. 10th place. A 5-pound bag of Mahatma extra long grain white rice retails for $6 to $8.50 depending on the supermarket chain. The contents are standard mass-harvested commodity crops, not single variety, not aged, not tested for microcontaminants. The exact same grade of industrial grain populates generic store brands, charging less than half the price. The primary differentiator is Mahatma's massive advertising footprint and dominant placement on the middle shelf. That label recognition adds a massive premium to every pound sold. The estimated cost of production for a standard Mahatma bag sits between 80 cents and $1.10. That covers plastic packaging, mechanical harvesting, industrial friction polishing, and freight. The consumer retail price is up to 6 times that baseline cost. Also managed under the Ebro Foods umbrella, Mahatma relies on multi-source regional pooling. Paddy rice from dozens of different industrial farms is dumped into shared silos, leading to massive variability in heavy metal filtration and grain purity. Pour Mahatma rice and a generic discount brand into two identical unbranded bowls. After cooking, most blind taste tests prove you cannot tell which costs $7 and which costs $3. That tells you everything about what your money is actually paying for. If this is changing how you look at grocery prices, subscribe. We break down the real numbers behind every brand so you don't have to. Number 9. Here's what a standard box of rice and roni actually costs to produce. Sourcing cheap, broken rice grains, the leftover scraps from primary milling houses, costs roughly 15 cents per box. Add a handful of cheap dried pasta vermicelli, a sachet of high-sodium flavor powder loaded with monosodium glutamate and maltodextrin, plus cardboard packaging. The total landed production cost comes in at 35 to 45 cents. That same box retails in standard grocers for $2 to $3. That is an astronomical markup of up to 600% on broken industrial scraps. Rice and Roni is managed by Quaker Oats, a division of PepsiCo, one of the largest food and beverage conglomerates on Earth. PepsiCo pours capital into catchy broadcast jingles, colorful box redesigns, and end-cap retail promotions. That spending does not lower the sodium content. It does not upgrade the broken grain tier to premium whole kernel rice. It does not eliminate artificial dyes or synthetic flavor enhancers. It passes directly to you at the checkout lane. A single serving contains up to 800 milligrams of sodium, over a third of your recommended daily limit, used primarily to mask the stale, flat taste of low-grade starch. The iconic box is doing the heavy lifting that the actual agricultural quality inside cannot. Number 8. Carolina rice is a major name along the East Coast, widely trusted for traditional home cooking, but its entry-tier line follows a highly familiar corporate playbook. In almost every metric, the raw material is pulled from the exact same regional co-ops that supply Mahatma in the cheapest private label store brands. The input metrics are effectively identical: mechanized high-intensity harvesting, zero grain aging, and high-friction polishing that strips the kernel's nutrient-dense alurone layer. Yet a bag of Carolina rice can retail for anywhere from $4.50 to $7. That represents an enormous markup for the exact same physical output from the exact same regional processing hubs. The gross margin on these branded commodity imports frequently hits near 62%. For every dollar you hand over, 62 cents covers corporate gross profit in retail slotting fees before the primary costs of cultivation are ever calculated. Two bags share the same agricultural region, they share the same processing plants, they share the same freight rail cars. The only asset they do not share is the label printed on the plastic. Think about that reality the next time you bypass the generic supermarket bag for the branded red and blue label on the adjacent shelf. You are paying double for the grain harvested by the exact same combine tractors. Different label, different price tag. 7th place. Major corporate food brands spend hundreds of millions annually on shelf positioning and global distribution networks. Look at what that buys you as a consumer when you purchase Zatarain's rice mixes. A standard box or bag of Zatarain's retails for $2.50 to $4.50. Actual agricultural sourcing and ingredient costs sit between 30 cents and 50 cents. But here's the dynamic that matters most. McCormick & Company, the parent corporate entity, spends vastly more on supermarket slotting fees and regional marketing than on the agricultural material itself. The production methodology confirms these priorities. Zatarain's relies heavily on high-yield, low-cost rice varieties, heavily coated with salt, palm oil, and artificial flavorings to ensure shelf life stability over multi-year warehouse storage cycles. This process flattens the natural aromatic profiles of authentic long-grain rice, replacing them with industrial spice blends designed to overwhelm your taste buds. At $3.50 a box, the money splits brutally. Less than 15% pays for the actual grain. The rest pays for corporate distribution contracts, shelf placement, and commercial ad spend. You are buying a logistics masterclass that happens to be edible. And in 6th place, the final name in our negative half, Seeds of Change Organic Rice.
While the brand is celebrated for its green leaf branding and certified organic positioning, the underlying business structure relies on standard industrial co-op aggregation packaged in convenient microwave pouches. Also owned by Mars Incorporated, Seeds of Change sources its rice from massive commercial organic co-ops where grains are pooled from multiple sources. A single 8.5-ounce ready-to-heat pouch retails for $3.50 to $4.50, translating to an astonishing $7 plus per pound. The estimated product sourcing cost for the rice inside that pouch is less than 40 cents. This represents one of the most aggressive commercial markups in the entire starch aisle. The label features eco-friendly messaging, but the pouch contains pre-cooked, oil-treated grain with zero transparency regarding harvest dates, farm locations, or batch-specific heavy metal testing. The premium price is supported by consumer wellness trends, lifestyle positioning, and corporate distribution. Seeds of Change didn't revolutionize sustainable rice farming, it applied a highly successful organic marketing overlay to a high-margin convenience pouch. 7 brands, 7 corporate supply chains built on the exact same economic premise. You are paying for the label, the processing, and the logistics, not for what is inside the bag. Now let's look at 5 brands that completely refuse to operate this way. Number 5. Lundberg Family Farms. Less than 2% of North American rice producers strictly track their supply chain down to the specific field, soil management protocol, and heavy metal testing thresholds. Lundberg Family Farms practices independent eco-farming in Northern California, maintaining complete vertical transparency over their crops. No corporate mystery, no vague multi-country sourcing statements, just verifiable agricultural integrity printed right on the package. Their flagship organic brown and wild rice lines retail for $5.50 to $7 for a 1-pound bag. Compare that directly to Seeds of Change or Ben's Original. You are paying roughly the same price per pound, but instead of a multinational mystery blend that sat in corporate storage silos for a year, you receive a single region product grown using regenerative soil practices that actively reduce soil arsenic uptake. Lundberg conducts rigorous batch testing for heavy metals and publishes their environmental standards openly. It is measurably pure. It retains its natural germ layer and intact bran architecture, delivering real fiber and complex nutrients. Their corporate markup is directly tied to lower yield eco-farming and soil conservation. No deceptive pastoral graphics masking cheap imports. The product origin is verified, the farming method is ecological, and the price reflects what it actually costs to manage a sustainable domestic farm. Number 4. Royal. $10 to $14 for a 5-pound burlap bag of basmati rice might seem like a premium price tag until you examine the raw data behind the harvesting and aging process. Royal sources its grain exclusively from the snow-fed foothills of the Himalayas, where traditional growing conditions generate authentic long-grain basmati. They do not hide behind generic industrial blending. Their packaging explicitly states that their premium basmati is naturally aged in climate-controlled silos for at least 12 to 18 months. Unaged commercial rice from mass importers bypasses this aging process entirely to save holding costs, resulting in mushy, sticky grains. With Royal, the exact parameters are right on the burlap bag: authentic single-region Himalayan origin, multi-month natural aging, and 100% pure long-grain basmati certification. Real proof of quality is exceptionally rare in the commodity aisles. Royal builds their entire brand reputation on it.
Number 3. Lotus Foods. Most grocery store brands show you an attractive box and ask you to trust their corporate quality department. Lotus Foods hands you a radical agricultural alternative. As a certified B Corporation, Lotus Foods partners directly with smallholder family farms across Asia, utilizing SRI, the System of Rice Intensification. This regenerative farming method uses up to 50% less water, emits up to 50% less methane, and increases crop yields without reliance on synthetic chemical fertilizers or GMO seeds. Their rare heirloom varieties, such as organic black forbidden rice and organic red rice, deliver antioxidant levels that rival fresh blueberries.
Every batch is tested for purity, heavy metals, and pesticide residues. Lotus Foods employs zero high-heat stripping mills or artificial enrichment powders. The natural dark pigments on the grain are pure anthocyanins, the exact same health-boosting compounds found in dark berries. Their retail price of $6 to $8 per bag reflects fair trade compensation paid directly to smallholder farmers in the rigorous verification of heirloom seed lines. Most commercial brands would never sell these rare heirloom varieties, not because consumers don't want them, but because their mass industrial supply chains are engineered strictly for high-yield white monocultures. Lotus Foods gives you pure, nutrient-dense biodiversity, letting the deep colors and complex flavors speak for themselves. Number 2. Dynasty/Nishiki. Walk up to the customer service department of a mass-market rice distributor and ask one simple question. What is the exact moisture percentage in amylose to amyopectin starch ratio of this batch? Watch them stall. They won't know because commodity aggregators dump dozens of different farm yields with varying starch profiles into shared industrial hoppers. Dynasty in Nishiki, specializing in authentic Japanese-style short and medium-grain calrose rice, operate on strict technical precision. Grown predominantly in the Sacramento Valley under ideal soil and climate conditions, these grains are harvested and milled under strict moisture-controlled environments. Every bag maintains a precise internal moisture level, ensuring that when cooked, the amyopectin starch releases evenly to create a signature plump, sticky texture without degrading into mush. Their 5-pound bags range from $9 to $12. The corporate markup sits at roughly 2 times the landed agricultural cost. Here is the direct contrast with minute rice or Ben's Original. At comparable price per serving tiers, Ishiki delivers an unbleached, unadulterated whole grain with an intact starch architecture. The grains are processed so precisely that they require 0 synthetic vitamin sprays to pass food safety standards. The structural alignment of technical precision, strict farming standards, and fair retail pricing is what separates genuine culinary rice from a brilliantly marketed corporate commodity.
And finally, number 1, 3 Elephants and Royal Elephant Thai Jasmine rice. No 2 crop yields are identical in nature, so why does every corporate grocery store rice look and taste like bland, uniform cardboard? That question is the entire operational foundation of 3 Elephants, and their solution is why they claim the number 1 spot on our list. Every single bag is produced from 100% authentic Thai home mali jasmine rice, harvested exclusively during the annual main crop harvest window in the Korat Plateau of northeastern Thailand, the world's undisputed premier region for jasmine rice. Thai home mali certification requires strict government-backed genetic purity testing, ensuring that 92% or more of the grains belong to the genuine aromatic jasmine strain. No generic cross-border blending, no mixing in cheap non-aromatic filler grains, and 0 artificial synthetic fragrance spraying. Lower-grade brands often take old, odorless white rice and spray it with synthetic jasmine aroma compounds that dissipate the moment you wash the rice. 3 Elephants relies on the natural 2-acetyl-1-pyrroline compound inherent to fresh harvested home mali rice, delivering a naturally sweet, pandan-like floral aroma. A 5-pound bag ranges from $8.50 to $11, an extraordinary value per pound. That price covers the agricultural labor of single-harvest farming, strict governmental certification, and direct ocean freight. Every dollar in the retail price corresponds directly to a physical, culinary attribute inside the bag. In an industry that charges you an enormous premium for corporate convenience and mascot nostalgia, 3 Elephants charges you strictly for genuine agricultural excellence. That is absolute precision at every stage of farming, and that is why it sits at number 1. 12 brands, 1 list, 1 universal lesson. The more a brand spends telling you about its mid-century heritage and instant convenience, the less it spends on the actual harvest to prove it. Your kitchen pantry is either an investment in your metabolic health or an invoice from a corporate marketing department. After today, you know the difference. Subscribe if you want more authentic financial breakdowns just like this one, and drop a comment below with the brand that surprised you the most.